Welcome to the NEWS9 Plus show on the world's first news and current affairs OTT platform, NEWS9 Plus. There's talk of a ceasefire in Gaza being extended. But over 2,000 kilometers south of Israel, there's another war raging between the Houthis backed by Iran and Israeli merchant ships. Over the past 3 weeks, 3 ships have been attacked by Houthi rebels. 1 has been hijacked by them and 2 attacked by them. And joining me to talk about this is my colleague Aditya Kaul. Aditya, tell us about the significance of these attacks. This is possibly the first time that we're seeing this spread of attacks in such a short span of time.
Firstly, all across the sea and the ocean, we have seen significant movement over the last more than 2 decades, particularly by the Somali pirates.
Right.
And there's been, an inter-agency coordination between the naval forces and the coast guards to, in fact, keep them under check. But they haven't been able to prevent many of these incidents. There have been negotiations. In many cases, money, etc., has been released. But in this particular case, particularly Iran's proxies, including the Houthis, are targeting ships and vessels that have connections with Israel in any way. It could be some kind of investment in that ship or part ownership, or the ship could be Israeli in nature. There was a ship that was heading towards India that was captured in a very dramatic way, a video that came out.
Yes, absolutely. We're looking at those
which
visuals.
clearly indicating this is actually that video in which on a chopper they land in a moving ship, a very rarely seen video, and they actually take over the entire place. Gunmen, multiple, at least more than a dozen gunmen on that ship, taking over the entire area.
Remarkable, Aditya, because it's like the Houthis have deck qualified helicopter pilots who can land on a moving deck. This is expertise of a very high order, and in that sense it's a step above what the Somali pirates were also doing.
Absolutely. I'm sure that the naval forces and coast guards would look at this video very closely to actually apprehend and actually make changes in their regular SOPs, because what we have seen till now, ever since the predominance of the Somali pirates, ever since 2005, there have been very set protocols and SOPs that have been put in place. I think they will have to reinvent these SOPs once they see this kind of a footage of a chopper not just monitoring the movement of the ship, they actually know who the owner is, from where to where this is going, and what is the precise time they need to strike in. And of course, they knew that they will not be countered by any kind of force, naval force or the coast guards, and this was the right time to actually strike in. So I think this puts a lot of questions on the security, on supply chains as well, because this is a trade route. This is a route where a lot of oil, a lot of energy also goes in continuously between the Mediterranean, between Europe and between South Asia.
This is the default route between India and Europe. That IMEC was supposed to shorten this. And but this is a route that's between the India-Israel trade. Which is almost $7 billion annually. It's gone up, and if you have rebels like this grabbing Israeli ships of cargo headed to and from Israeli ports, then that's a very serious issue for India-Israel trade, Aditya.
Absolutely. India and Israel have had a very robust trade that is only growing over the last decade, and in the years ahead could grow further, with Adani really taking over the Haifa port. And what we are witnessing ever since the war began on 7th of October is the fact that Ashkelon, one of the ports, has been shut almost. The international vessels and ships are not being allowed in, but there are others like Haifa and others that are still operational, but could be shut anytime. And there are concerns with international ship operators and private players whether to go ahead with it. So
this is actually a smart game that the Houthis are playing, and obviously it's Iran behind them, the kind of economic warfare that is being waged. I mean, if you thought that it was only one side that could play economic warfare, sanctions and all that, the Iranians seem to be doing exactly this in the Red Sea, and obviously the stakes are much higher, especially for countries like India, which is not directly involved in this, would kind of get pulled into this kind of a situation, Aditya. And the other interesting point is that I was just reading this excerpt of one of the reports which said that a US warship, there have been in fact 3 such attacks over the last 1 week, and one of the US warships, when it came to the assistance of the third ship that was pirated. Here we can see the The first one is, of course, the Galaxy leader, which we just saw, that dramatic helicopter footage. That was the second one that was attacked by drones. And the third one, this is the third ship that was attacked on the 23rd, 24th in the Indian Ocean. And when the American ship went to the aid of this ship, there were 2 ballistic missiles fired towards the American ship, and that's remarkable. The area of operations that you're looking at the Red Sea, 2 ships in the Red Sea and 1 in the Indian Ocean. The spread is incredibly large. I mean, this is clearly not any non-state actor. This is entirely state actors, Aditya. What do you think that India's response should be in such a situation?
Well, to be cautious and be prepared. Yeah. I don't think that India would be attacked or by mistake a missile would actually land in India. I don't think that will happen. But we have to be prepared. We had announced the IMEC. Many say that the war in itself is because of the IMEC. Well, the jury's out there. But we got a glimpse of the kind of impacts and consequences of war after the Russia-Ukraine war. The kind of economic consequences that led to. India also was given a lot of summons at that time because of the independent policy that India had. And a lot of oil, etc., energy that's coming in from Russia, that's still coming in. And interestingly, Europe is buying from India much more than it used to a couple of years ago.
So refined oil, yes.
Absolutely. So as of now, I think India will have to be very cautious because we are talking about the entire Indian Ocean region that is already threatened by the Chinese spying vessels, etc., that have happened in the past. And now comes this threat. So I think this is a new level of threat. We need to reimagine security, maritime security, and be cautious because the proxies are, in for more adventures, misadventures in these regions. And I think this is likely to increase in the coming weeks.
There's been no official statement from the MEA, Aditya, about these attacks or how it's impacting India.
I don't think there has been any public statement yet by any of the government agencies, but I'm sure that India, not just with Israel and the UAE and others, but would be in contact with a lot of partners with which it has relations, maritime relations. Of course, the Quad would be in contact continuously because Australia and Japan also play a very significant role when it comes to maritime security. And India would be taking the laid down precautions and in touch with US, Israel, and a lot of significant players in the region in this regard.
And of course, the global maritime community is extremely concerned about these events, as they should be for any such random acts of terror out at sea, because it compromises not just shipping, but also has an impact on the insurance, the cargoes that are insured, and that has a bearing on the kind of investments and all of that. So there's a cascading effect there, and if the Houthis start doing this, as Iranian proxies are wont to in a situation like this, it could have unintended consequences for the whole world. From the battle in the Red Sea, we move to India's election battleground. Telangana is a crucial state in the semi-final match as the state elections of 2023 are being called. It's crucial to the 3 political parties in the fray. And joining me to discuss these elections is author and Hyderabad-based senior journalist Kingshuk Nag. Kingshuk, welcome to the NEWS9 Plus show.
There's a 3-way election. Of course, Congress is there, the TRS, which has been in power for the last 10 years, is there, and so is the BJP. However, the BJP is not a very, very serious player, because I think if the battle is between the Congress and the TRS, and the BJP is there only to support, if I may say so. They don't want the National Party to come in here because they are also a national party. The only other national party is the Congress. So therefore, I think it is in the interest of the BJP to ensure that the Congress does not win. Therefore, some sort of alliance with TRS were at an informal level. That's what is happening. So that's that. You have to always understand one thing, that in southern India, the BJP is not there. And maybe in Karnataka there's a bit there, and in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh a bit, but nothing in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So I think this is something which the BJP bosses also now understand, that they have to have some presence here. And one of the ways is to, Mr. Modi is going to camp here, and Amit Shah was around, Rahul Gandhi is there. So, but this is the thing. It is India, but BJP is a national party, but unfortunately, it is not yet spread uniformly across South India.
Right, and Kingshuk, the loss of Karnataka, I think Telangana was supposed to have been that state that would make up for that loss in Karnataka, but as you're saying, that doesn't seem to be the case right now. It's just the Congress versus the Bharat Rashtra Samiti.
True.
What is the... is KCR looking at a hat-trick now?
He is looking for the hat-trick, but whether he'll get the hat-trick or not, I don't know. My own feeling is that the Congress party will be stymied in its effort by the BJP, because BJP is not a national party around, and therefore TRS might come back to power.
Right.
But that does not mean it is due to TRS that TRS is coming back.
Right.
Because of other factors, probably TRS might make it.
Right.
Of
and
course,
how big a factor, how big a factor is this AI-MIM support for the BRS in these elections?
Well, there is some, but I think the national press always overestimates the importance of the MIM, because MIM is only present in the Hyderabad seats. In Hyderabad, the population of Muslims is around 35% of the total population.
Right.
And so they have got a presence in Hyderabad, not also in new Hyderabad, but in old Hyderabad.
Right.
Unfortunately, because our national press is only dominated by this Muslim and Hindu and all these things, and they put a lot of stress on MIM. And I don't think MIM is such a big factor.
It's not. But I was just looking at the vote share, the minority vote share, the 7 assembly segments. It ranges from 50% to 85%, and 20-25% in another 7 segments in Hyderabad city. And Muslims are 15 to 20% in 30 other assembly segments outside of Hyderabad. So, there are about 45 assembly segments in all where the Muslims seem to be making, that could have a potential impact. So, who do you think the Muslim community will back this time? The Congress or
Muslim community? Muslim community, by and large, votes for the MIM.
Right.
Because they think, I'll tell you, I know some Muslim journalists who are otherwise secular, but they say, in the end, we vote for the MIM only. Why? Because they think MIM will not go against their interests. No, they also know the shortcomings of the MIM. But वो बोलते हैं कि हम जब जाते हैं वोट देने तो ये सोचते हैं कि MIM को वोट देंगे तो हमको भी फायदा होगा. That's why MIM gets the votes. And I think over the years, this importance of the MIM is reducing because a city like Hyderabad is also expanding and new people are coming in, and they are not Muslims. And the Muslims are here very dominant because the Nizam was the ruler here.
Yes.
And historically, the Muslims have dominated here. But slowly over the years, their numbers are going down, I think. But even then, I'll say that there's a lot of influence of Muslims in Hyderabad city, undoubtedly. But over the years, it is going down a bit, I think.
But the MIM has been able to hold on to those 7 assembly segments in Hyderabad, right? I mean, that's their core, literally.
Yeah, the MIM is very important in some cities, some constituencies in the old city of Hyderabad, where there are a lot of Muslims. So they will certainly win those assembly seats, I think.
Right.
This time in Jubilee Hills constituency also, which is a secular constituency where I also stay, Congress has put up Azharuddin. So I think MIM is not able to expand that way, but they put up candidates everywhere.
Right. Kingshuk, what about the revival of the Congress? A couple of months back, the Congress was nowhere on the scene, right? The BJP's star was on the ascendant. And then a few months back, the Congress started, scaling the winnability charts, and a lot of candidates, they started to attract a lot of candidates towards their party. And how did the, Congress manage this turnaround in a couple of months?
The fact of the matter is that the BJP is not present in a big way. So therefore, if you are looking for opposition vote, they'll turn towards, if you are looking away from TRS, then you look towards Congress because there's no BJP. And that's how Congress becomes important. Of course, the Congress has also got a lot of courage by their win in Karnataka, which they think will now come into Telangana. Right. So the Congress is more active also. Therefore, I think they are becoming more.
So the BRS is all, its advantage BRS very clearly by what you're saying in these elections.
Yeah, from whatever it seems to me. it is advantage TRS. Though I have seen some polls and all saying that the Congress is going to win. I don't know, but I think TRS is going to win, and Congress will be a number 2. Let's see what actually happens.
Right. Kingshuk, thank you very much for your insights. We'll be tracking the results of the polls, of course, very closely. And of course, the November 30th polling day, where I think the turnout will give you some idea of where the the results are looking at. Thanks again, Kingshuk. We'll come back to you very soon. Thank you. Meanwhile, it's been over 2 weeks since 41 workers were trapped in a tunnel in Uttarkashi. The eyes of the nation are on these workers and their plight. NEWS9's Nivriti Mohan, our eyes on the ground, brings us this report.
Multiple companies, multiple machines, multiple agencies, multiple security forces, all are involved here in rescuing the lives of 41 workers stranded inside the tunnel for 16 days now. So various agencies are working in coordination with each other, and they are doing their best. Like NHIDCL is involved in lifeline efforts. It is also involved in horizontal drilling that is taking place, and vertical drilling is being done by SJVNL. THDCL is doing horizontal drilling from the Barkot side, and RVNL is doing perpendicular horizontal drilling. Vertical drilling of 6 inches is also being done by RVNL at Silkyara end. Then ONGC is working on vertical drilling at Barkot end. Drift tunnel technology is also being used, and the team that is involved in this is of THDCL, Army, Coal India and NHIDCL. So all of them are working together. Apart from this, security forces are involved, like BRO is involved, road cutting and supportive work is being done by BRO. So BRO is, it has built a 1.2 kilometer road to the vertical drilling site, and also a rescue tunnel was created by the BRO. Apart from this, NDRF is there, SDRF is there, and they are working on the rescue part of it, and also Army is there, which is also involved in it, in the rescue operation. The teams have been called in, and they are working on manual drilling of the tunnel, and drift technology also they will be working on. Apart from this, DRDO is there, Indian Air Force is there. They are bringing in critical equipment, flying in critical equipment. ITBP is there, police is there, DRDO is there, and equipments made by DRDO are being used here. BSNL is there. So they have laid a communication line into the tunnel so that people can speak to the workers trapped inside. Apart from this, the government of Uttarakhand is involved, PMO is involved, government of India is involved, Ministry of Road and Transport is involved, and national and international experts have been called in to rescue, to help in the rescue of these 41 workers who are trapped inside the tunnel, so that they can be brought out as soon as possible. So it is a big rescue operation happening here, and we have a lot of lessons to learn from this rescue operation, and it is going to change the way India has been building its tunnel, especially in the Himalayan region. So there are many lessons to be learned here.
So there are 22 government agencies involved either directly or indirectly in the rescue operations of those 41 workers. That just tells you the stakes, the high stakes that are in play over here, as the entire nation watches and waits for the good news for the rescue of these 41 incredibly brave and strong workers. We'll be tracking that story closely. But another story that's caught our attention is the Dons of Punjab. Last night, the Delhi Police Special Cell arrested 2 gangsters from the Arsh Dalla gang. They wanted to shoot down a Punjabi musician. Just last year, we saw the horrific shooting down of Sidhu Moosewala, a Punjabi pop musician. Aditya, your favorite part of the world is back in the news again. Canada, Khalistan, India, it's all trending again. Break it down for us. How did Canada become a haven for gangsters?
Well, we've been witnessing a lot of movement of these gangsters who have escaped India and are taking refuge either in Canada or US or even some of the European countries. Arshadullah, or also significantly known as Arshdeep Singh, is another such gangster who's been active for the last many years. And he's been involved with a lot of killings, a lot of contract killings, and intimidating a lot of people, particularly in Punjab and elsewhere. He's been significantly going after the Punjabi singers.
Right.
This time around as well, he had sent in these two, contract killers who were on their way in Delhi to kill a Punjabi singer. And this particular singer was attacked in the past as well, but he had escaped.
Right.
And this time also, he turned out to be lucky. This was near the Akshardham flyover last night, where the encounter took place. Heart of Delhi, actually, not very far from the central Delhi, where the Parliament and the Prime Minister's residence is. And this encounter taking place, and the special cell of the Delhi police has arrested 2 people. They have found a lot of literature, communication devices, and ammunition and cartridges with them. And their interrogation is currently underway at the special cell office in Lodi Road in New Delhi. So clearly points out how the Khalistani and the gangster nexus, the organized crime syndicate, is very much active. And that's what India has been emphasizing for a very long time.
Yes.
And asking Canada and US to act against them. But this has been going to deaf ears.
Multiple incidents over the last few days, Aditya. In fact, just late last week, there was this incident of a firing in one of the Canadian singer's house outside his residence. That's not been confirmed, but I think one of the Indian gangsters has posted something on Facebook claiming that outside Gippy Grewal's house, there was some shooting incident. And then you have this attack on the Indian ambassador while he was attending the Gurpurab functions. And are all of these connected somehow, Aditya?
Absolutely, they are connected, because there are agencies which are operating outside India that are responsible for sponsoring, motivating, and providing all the resources that they need. And I'm not just referring to Pakistan in this particular case. There are others that
other agencies, other intelligence agencies.
Other intelligence agencies that do this to extend their foreign policy goals when it comes to India. And we've seen this time and again, Sandeep, from Lawrence Bishnoi to Anmol Bishnoi to Arshadullah to Goldie Brar. All these, most of them, apart from Lawrence, who is in prison right now, most of them have been operating from abroad. And they have their other gangsters and low-rung leaders who are operating from Punjab, from Rajasthan, from Uttar Pradesh and other places, and are trying to intimidate and threaten people, particularly Punjabi singers, because they require money. As they call in the Bombay language, hafta.
That's
and continue to operate in this
And
region.
it's a lucrative industry, Aditya. I mean, we've been tracking this story for a couple of months now. It's the Punjabi music industry is worth something like 1,000 crore. And that's a lot of money, and with live shows, another 500-600 crore. So that's a very big, pie that I think the gangsters are running after. And this actually very similar to what the Bollywood music industry used to be in the 90s. If you remember, there was that very sensational shootout where Gulshan Kumar was shot down by the underworld. And this template seems to be copied by the Punjabi gangsters now. And in fact, we have this interview with Kaul Dosanjh, a Canadian policeman. Deepak Badana spoke with him. And he explains what you were just talking about, Aditya, how Canada, this peace-loving, non-violent country, actually became a haven for Indian gangs, and how they continue to operate with impunity. Let's watch.
Massive fluctuation of immigration from India shortly after the Golden Temple attack. In the late 80s, the Golden Temple attack happened in 84. Shortly thereafter, you'll notice there was a massive migration of Southeast Asians coming from India in the late 80s and early 90s. And so they were coming to Canada, they were settling here, they were trying to become financially independent and stable. But while they were busy at work, their children were also adjusting to a Western style of life in school. So reconciling and finding that balance between their culture, their values, their traditions versus Western culture. So there was obviously a lot of challenges that came with that. And part of that was having to deal with racism. There was a significant amount of racism back in the day as well. So what ended up happening is the South Asians would band together in little gangs to protect one another from all the racism was happening. But unfortunately, that gradually escalated from just insulating and protecting one another as a defensive tactic to becoming more of a threat and intimidation and use of violence as a tool to make money selling drugs. And they realized how lucrative it was. So that's where the real start was. And the real dawn of gangsterism here, so to speak, was Bindi Johal and the Dosanjh brothers. And so that cycle was in the early 90s. And there was multiple homicides that came as a result of that. And you could say that was truly the beginning of South Asian gang crime in North America.
Today, in Canada, at least, Canadian Punjabi or South Asian gangsters, they form a significant, they control a significant portion of, say, territories or even the trade. Could you elaborate on the kind of activities they've engaged in?
Everything you could possibly imagine. Drug trafficking, weapons trafficking, extortions, robberies, kidnappings, prostitution, you name it. Like, it is unbelievable, the spectrum of crime that these individuals are involved in. But primarily what we're noticing is the South Asians are involved in the drug trafficking business.
So, see, South Asians have for a long time been termed as a model immigrant community. We're known for having the highest rates of education. A lot of professionals hail from the community. And this is across the globe. What is the effect of, on the community with regard to the rise of this phenomena? How has the community responded?
I'll be very honest with you. I'm very disappointed. I really am. The South Asian community as a whole, they don't work together. I'll say that right out, because as the South Asian community is all about sweeping it underneath the rug, pretending it doesn't exist. It's blind denial. It's the ostrich with the head in the sand approach. And secondly, unlike India, where we grew up in villages, and it goes back to that old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, where we all helped out. Here, everybody minds their own business. So if some kid is involved in drugs or gangs, everybody takes the attitude, it's not our problem, right? It's that families, that parents, their responsibility, their problem, they can deal with it. And that's the most disappointing aspect of all this, is that my work in the community has primarily been centered on that saying that it takes a village to raise a child, where I firmly believe in all of us working together in collaboration and in partnership to keep kids on the right track. Just because it's somebody else's child doesn't mean it's not our responsibility as a whole, as a community. And I believe that's where the South Asian community needs to stand together in order to protect our kids from going into that lifestyle.
What are the connections of how do you see an impact? So from my perspective, today I am sitting in Patiala in Punjab, and what is fascinating to me is that Punjabis in India, in any way, they're stereotyped as having a globalist perspective. People in the Punjab in India, they don't just think of Punjab, they'll think of going abroad, they'll think of having businesses across the globe. How have you seen connections? Do you see any connections between, say, the Canadian Punjabi underworld in Canada and the heartland in Indian Punjab? Have you seen any connections over the years?
Oh, of course. Of course. Multiple connections. What you have to understand that not many, but some of those that choose to immigrate to Canada have a significant amount of criminal history and affiliation back in India. They're involved in that lifestyle over there, where they're involved in drug trafficking, they're involved in that lifestyle. They see it as DC money. And when they get their immigration to Canada, because their records were clean, and they end up moving to Canada, Canada simply becomes a safe haven for them, where then they end up conducting their drug business here as well. In terms of the nexus between India and Canada, I'll give you a perfect example. There was kids that were born here. When I say kids, they were in their early 20s. They were gangsters, South Asian. So in Canada, based on our rules, you cannot ship over bulk precursors for drugs unless you're a pharmaceutical company. So one of the precursors used for methamphetamines, which is meth, a major drug, that is required, can be bought in India in bulk. And so what these guys did is that they went to Mumbai, they purchased a huge amount of the precursor in bulk, and then they shipped it over here. So in other words, long as it gets shipped from a country that permits it, it's not a problem. So you can't just buy it here, but you can ship it from another country here. So these gangsters were involved in shipping large-scale precursors, thousands of kilograms, to Canada, which was subsequently used by Asian organized crime for their meth labs, to create meth and to sell that and distribute that on the streets. Those guys were busted in Mumbai when the Mumbai police worked together in conjunction with Canadian authorities, and now those guys are now sitting in jail in Mumbai.
Punjabi Canadian gangs, according to Cal Dosanjh. We also have this story, The Dawns of Punjab, which we put together some months ago. Let's take a look.
This is Punjab. This border state occupies a unique position, an outsized cultural influence in India. It is the spiritual homeland of the Sikhs. It was the epicenter of the Green Revolution, leading to Punjab's reputation as India's richest state. But this reputation is a mirage.
Punjab faces the perfect storm. Its economy is in trouble. Agriculture has stagnated and there's rampant unemployment. About 15.4% of Punjab's population is addicted to some kind of intoxicating drug. The government says Punjabis are fleeing the state. More than 4.78 lakh Punjabis left India between 2016 and 2021. Ruling this volatile mix is a new underworld. Indians everywhere are aware of the exploits of the Mumbai underworld. Dawood Ibrahim and Chhota Rajan are now in the past. Young, hungry, bold and ruthless, Punjab has produced India's newest crime lords. Once student politicians and nation-level athletes, they are infamous as gangsters, smugglers, sharpshooters. The tentacles of their shadowy groups reach everywhere. From Chandigarh to Delhi to Dubai, Thailand, the United Kingdom, United States and Canada. They control sports, influence politics and dominate popular culture. They run guns, traffic people and drugs and extort from the music and film industries. You are not beyond their reach and you don't even know it. They are the dawns of Punjab. 10 months before Sidhu Moosewala was murdered, another brutal killing shook Punjab. Around 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, 7th August 2021, 4 hitmen gunned rising political star and youth Akali Dal leader Vicky Middu Kheda. Middu Kheda's death was ordered by a gangster, Lucky Patyal. Moosewala's manager, Shagan Preet, allegedly aided the shooters. He would soon flee India. Patyal runs his criminal empire from the small post-Soviet Republic of Armenia. From here, he controls the Bambiha gang, one of the 2 prominent gangs that control Punjab. Mika Gill of Gill village in Ludhiana is chairman and founder of Punjab Youth Federation. Mika was once a gangster himself. He has even been arrested and jailed. It was during his time behind bars at Nabha jail in Punjab that he befriended some of Punjab's most notorious gangsters. These included the leaders of the Bambiha gang, Davinder Bambiha, Harvinder Rinda, and Lucky Patyal. Today, he is a sarpanch and his past is long behind him.
ਤੇ ਲੱਕੀ ਪਟਿਆਲ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਨ ਉਹ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਨੂੰ ਹੁਣ ਲੱਕੀ ਪਟਿਆਲ ਚਲਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਲੱਕੀ ਪਟਿਆਲ ਵੀ ਅਰਮਾਨੀਆ ਜੇਲ੍ਹ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੰਦ ਹੈ। ਦੇਖੋ ਲੱਕੀ ਬੜਾ ਸ਼ਰਮੀਲਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਸੀ, ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ ਹੱਸ ਪੈਣਾ, ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ 'ਚ ਮਸਤ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਇਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਯਾਰ ਮੈਂ ਨਜਾਇਜ਼ ਫਸ ਗਿਆ।
Patyal, a native of Khuda Lahora village in Chandigarh district, was once a student leader much like Middu Kheda. He dreamt of becoming a politician someday, but his quest for power would take him down another path altogether. Patyal's journey towards infamy began in 2012. He was just 21, a hotel management student in Chandigarh.
ਉਹ ਵਧੀਆ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਚੋਂ ਸੀ, ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਚੋਂ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਇਹ ਲਾਈਨ ਦਾ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉਹਦੀ ਵੀ ਮਜਬੂਰੀ ਬਣ ਗਈ। ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਬੱਡੀ ਖੇਡਦਾ ਸੀ ਲੱਕੀ ਪਟਿਆਲ, ਉਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਕਬੱਡੀ ਖੇਡਦਾ ਸੀ, ਕਬੱਡੀ ਦੇ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਲੜਾਈ ਹੋਈ, ਲੜਾਈ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਤਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ।
On 22nd of May 2012, Patyal and 6 men hacked 31-year-old Saudagar Singh, his kabaddi rival, to death. They cut him down with axes in full public view near a district court. Patyal was, however, charged as an accomplice, and the courts granted bail. In 2014, Patyal was among a group that killed Akali Dal worker Gurjand Singh Jenta. This was during the elections. Outside the office of Akali Dal candidate and eventual winner, Prem Singh Chandumajra. He was charged as an accomplice yet again, and another bail followed. By 2015, Lucky was ruling Chandigarh. The fear generated by the murders only worked to his advantage. He joined Shiromani Akali Dal's youth wing, SOI, or Student Organization of India. He joined hands with two of Punjab's most wanted men, Dilpreet Singh Dahan and Davinder Bambiha of the Bambiha gang. Davinder Bambiha would be killed in a police encounter in Batinda in 2016. The same year, Daha was sent to prison, and Patyal was suddenly elevated as leader of the Bambiha gang. This was when he met Harvinder Singh Sandhu, aka Rinda. Rinda, who had spent some time in Mumbai, introduced the Bambiha gang to extortion. For Patyal, the good times had begun. The Punjabi music industry is a direct product of the changes in Punjab. Merging influences from K-pop, British road rap and American gangster rap, the music cuts across language barriers in India and reaches audiences across the globe. It's composed of over 400 music studios based in and around Mohali, a suburb of Chandigarh in Punjab. The industry is worth over 700 crores and grows at a rate of 10% per annum. There's even more to be made from live performances, appearances, ads, Spotify and YouTube. The Bambiha gang expanded its reach into the music industry.
Somebody comes into their radar who is perhaps moneyed. Could be a businessman, could be a star, could be a film star, could be a singer, could be a dancer, whoever is making money. And of course, glamour always plays an important role.
So they have surplus money also, it appears. And they are an easy target.
Then they send out messages. I mean, they issue threats. And sometimes they kill people also to send out message that, a call from us or phone from us is serious.
That a number of guys who are into Punjabi music industry, as also in Punjabi movie industry, what they call Bollywood here, they have been blackmailed. Their money has been extorted there. Yes.
Ready, gaadi manga lo. Action!
The Dons would provide the money needed to produce music videos. Even more, they offered patronage and protection. But at what cost? The Dons of Punjab wanted a piece of the action. They demanded the copyrights to hit singles. They influenced the distribution and even when and where the artists perform. Singers and labels linked to a gang would find the tag inescapable. Furthermore, They themselves could become targets for rival gangs.
They are not Bahubalis, they are not muscle men, etc., who can resist the threats via such extortion caused by such persons. They will not.
What happens is generally, if one particular gang is after somebody who's a moneyed man or may not, or whatever it is, then he or she may not get directly involved in gangsterism, but he or she might like to take protection from the other gang. At least that protection that, this gang is after me. So they need some kind of protection, and that's why they get associated with that. It is not that Moosewala or any other people may be directly gangsters, but they were maybe associated with one or the other gang.
The Bambiha gang extorted money from actors and singers. Refusal and defiance would not be an option. On the night of the 14th of April 2018, the Bambiha gang came for Parmesh Verma. Verma was returning home after a performance when his car was shot at. A bullet hit Verma and the hitman followed as he made an escape. This was the cost of defiance. While Patial lived large, he was nevertheless discreet. Unlike others, he did not run social media pages and stopped getting pictures clicked. But the law did eventually catch up. In 2018, the courts sentenced Patial to life in prison and sent him to the high-security Nabha jail. This could have been the end for most, but not for Gaurav Lucky Patial. He got bail and jumped parole and fled to Dubai.
ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਮੁੜਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਇਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੋਂ, ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਗਿਆ ਉਹ ਤੋਂ parole ਮਿਸ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਜਾਂ parole ਤੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ, parole ਜੰਪ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਉਹਦੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੇਸ 'ਚ ਉਹਦੀ ਇਨਵੋਲਵਮੈਂਟ ਆ ਗਈ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ। ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕ ਕੇਸ ਹੋਇਆ, ਦੂਜਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਤੀਜਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਮੁਕੱਦਮੇ ਵੱਧਦੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਫਸ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ, ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੇਰਾ ਮੰਨਣਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਫਸ ਗਿਆ। ਫਸ ਕੇ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਯਾਰ ਹੁਣ ਮੁੜਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਗੋਲੀ ਆ। ਇੱਥੇ ਉਹ ਗਲਤੀ ਕਰ ਗਿਆ।
This was the turning point in Patial's life. In Dubai, he saw what the Mumbai underworld had seen. There was a need for organization, expansion, alliances. He linked up with Haryana-based gangster Kaushal Chaudhary's group and Neeraj Bhavana and Tillu Tajpuria from Delhi NCR. This spread his reach to most of northern India. He moves to Armenia, far from the reach of Indian laws. From here, he runs the Bambiha group. While Lucky consolidated power in Armenia, his old partner Rinda would go down a different path. He would wage war against India. His arch rival, who established a global crime syndicate, is Lawrence Bishnoi. He ordered Moosewala's killing and threatened Salman Khan. So how did Lawrence, a small town boy, become Punjab's biggest don?
तो जब हम करेंगे तो पता लग ही जाएगा। सलमान खान का करेंगे, मारेंगे ही जाएंगे, जोधपुर में मारेंगे तो पता लग जाएगा।
You could reach New Delhi in the time it takes to cover a 20-kilometer stretch in India's Silicon Valley, Bengaluru. We leave you with a glimpse of this story my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah is working on Bengaluru's traffic situation. Until then, thanks for watching.
Bengaluru, a city like that, which is a cosmopolitan hub, cannot have potholes open that people cannot cross the streets.
Tech Corridor Outer Ring Road witnessed an unusually massive traffic jam.
Bengaluru residents went through a harrowing experience after a massive traffic congestion.
Sadly, even the Silicon Valley of India is no stranger to hours of traffic jams and frequent accidents.
Bengaluru is a city where chaos and innovation collide in a daily battle for mobility.
Sometimes you have so much growth, it also comes with a cost.
So Moon's crater, how it has so much of meteor coming and hitting, making potholes. Here nothing is hitting, but still we have potholes.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery. But what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids. You cannot solve cancer with a band-aid.